Grace of grief. My heart accompanies you through this journey of acceptance. Many of us have lost many loved ones during this time and before, and I felt the need to give you a mirror to accompany you that may assist you to find your peace congruently in a healthy manner and to make sense of things easily. Branch 1, validating valor. Losing someone close to us, all of a sudden, or even due to illness, can be a daunting journey. It's a lonely journey because no one is in our hearts, no one is in our minds to understand how we bear loss. We are all different human beings who function differently, and each of us suffers things differently. So to make sense of how we feel and to understand how to process things is not easy. And I wanted to give you something to have a chance to look at it in a way that's with emotional logic for you to find your peace easily. It's an intimate journey where I know that the only person who can help me is me. Acknowledging loss, accepting loss, is not something that we can share with others because no one shares the relationship with people that we do. Each one of us, in fact, is very alone in this. Other people can provide support, of course, and they do. Understanding and acknowledging how we are feeling is important, with the knowledge that no one can actually be in our shoes. Each one suffers in his own way, and it can be lonely. The key is to find that space within you to live things easily, peacefully, with a mindful eye that you are still living. It's important to appreciate all the support we receive, but it's important to be strong inside ourselves, because the more we engage with other people, the more we give of ourselves, the harder it may be to come to a place of silence at some point within. So measuring that silence for ourselves is really important. Each of us can have many different reactions based on the relationship we have. It can be a loss to any type of cause. It could even be a loss of a relationship where the person is still living. But a loss to the skies is something different because no one can take that grief away from you. It is something, depending on your faith, whether it's permanent or whether it's temporary, because we may be joining them, or they may be joining us again differently. It really depends on how each one of us perceives this. This is not an easy thing to share with you because I hope to help many people with this topic who have suffered a loss. It could be a parent who lost a child. It could be a child who lost a parent. It could be a spouse. It could be a sibling. It could be a friend, a dear friend. There's every possibility of loss. The key is of how are we untangling this loss with an emotional logic to help us to be able to carry on, to find wisdom in what was, wisdom in what is, and wisdom with what will be. We can get immobilized. We can go through brain freeze. We can feel scared. Our senses may be shattered. We may be dramatic. We may be over-emotionally loaded. We may be over-emotionally loaded. We may not be able to make sense of today and where we are. A lot of times, a shock of a death that happened suddenly can be overwhelming. Understanding how we feel is a journey where we peacefully breathe, we align ourselves, and we allow ourselves to mourn. A lot of times people resist how they feel. Please don't resist how you feel. Whatever you're feeling is okay, and it's allowed. Each one of us are unique. We all have a different character. We all have a different way of handling things. We all have a life full of tacit knowledge and experience in what we have processed. And no two people process anything the same. Please don't resist how you're feeling. Each one of us is allowed to process whatever we need to. The only thing I ask of you is please don't neglect those next to you that care for you, that are by your side, that are depending on you. Please don't get caught up in your grief where you end up hurting those who are still next to you. Pay attention to them. Ensure that they don't suffer more because of your grief and the way you're feeling. Ensure that you still have empathy for them. I know we have to multitask. We all have to multitask. But it's important to maintain our responsibilities of those that are next to us still as well. We cannot lock ourselves up and disappear. What we can do is detach a little bit, take space for ourselves, while maintaining the responsibilities that we need to fulfill. It's really important to do that, because a lot of times we can get caught up so much in how we're feeling, and we feel we're the only person on earth and we're the only one who's lost someone. It's not true. Everybody goes through death. Every single one of us. It's a part of life. It's something we all have to endure, like it or not. This life is fragile. If we realize how fragile it is, the way we handle it in the future will be different. A lot of times we may have taken things for granted. So all the different types of feelings that emerge as a result of losing someone can be overwhelming and daunting, yes, for sure. Outside acknowledgement of our loss can also be overwhelming. It can make us feel bad rather than good. The key is to build that bridge, to allow yourself a space within that grants you your own space, not connected to other people. I know some of us have the urge to lean on other people in the notion of loss. What would help you more is to actually acknowledge, respect, gratify those who are trying to help you, knowing that they can't possibly replace your loss, knowing possibly that they can't imagine how you're feeling within, but be grateful for those who are helping you. Be nice to them. A lot of times it could be that we've lost relationships because of someone who's ruined relationships of ours. And therefore, losing them permanently creates anger or creates resentment. Not our own responsibility, but due to other people who are malicious, who are malevolent. We have to give them grace too. I know it's not easy. The key is to realize that the person we've lost to the skies is there permanently in a different way. Life is full of many different elements. Plants die, animals die, human beings die. The summer dies into autumn, autumn goes into winter, and winter creates spring again. So the evolution of life we must carry on. We don't have a choice. So how we bear the loss is important to respect, to honor, to keep the person who's gone into a different dimension close to us, and to take that step by step to gradually be able to absorb, reflect, contemplate every step of the way so that the journey becomes easy for you and one that you can let go of peacefully. And I'm not saying you let go of the person you love, quite the contrary. You keep them in your heart. But this journey right now is about framing them the way you want to, ensuring you're keeping everything you need so that you find your peace and your solace. It's intimate, it's you with you. Being human, we have no choice but to accept where we are in our journey. The choice to deny or refuse it is great. The key is to accept it and to sit with it for a while, quietly. Quietly. Be gentle with yourself and allow the dust to settle, to see what a new reality looks like. But taking heed of everything you want to keep from the journey of the past that has just left you. Because it's still with you. Today it's still with you. Tomorrow it'll still be with you. Having conversations with the person who's gone is important in order to give them the respect they're due and allow them to transition peacefully to the next dimension. The more we try to hold on to them today, the harder their transition may be. and we have to give that respect. Grief is something we honor alone, with dignity, with resilience, with honor for the person who's left us. It's not something we share intimately with others. A lot of times, because we've lost someone that was a pillar for us, we can feel lost and we want to lean. Please don't lean. Please find the space to honor the person within you first. Find the space to have intimate conversations with the person you've lost inside you first. It's with wisdom later that you can adapt and have conversations with others. But for now, in the moments after losing someone, it's really important to keep them within you. Build a space for them in your heart, your own secret garden that you can keep them in. You can keep talking to them. As far as faith goes, what I would suggest is to allow the possibility that they've only changed dimension, but they can still hear you. They are still with you, and they always will be. They can appear in your dreams. So don't shut the door to the possibility of life being something that we don't necessarily know everything about, allowing all possibilities. There may be questions circling in your mind. There's no need to find all the answers today. Step by step, it'll come to a peaceful place. Trust it, believe in it. It's a journey of strength and love for the person lost, but for you too. Nurture your emotions, validate them, feel them. Allow things to be until you can start putting the pieces together. It's okay, don't worry. It will happen. Finding quiet and that sweet space inside gives you a chance to really honor the person who's gone in a way that no one else would be able to describe, accept, or honor. You have to sit with it because your relationship was yours. Other people's relationships are theirs. Each one of us lives each relationship so differently. And each one of us has millions of questions or millions of thoughts or regrets or feelings of anger, saying, how could you leave me? There's a million things that happen. What I'm asking you for now is to just sit with how you're feeling, even write how you're feeling, voice note how you're feeling, send messages to the person who's still on your phone. Write the messages. Keep them as close to you for as long as you need in order to make sense of the fact that they are not there anymore in a physical sense, where you can interact with them or talk with them. Honor the love that you felt. Honor the person for all the good they've done in this world. Honor them for who they were. Even honor their mistakes. Acknowledge them. There's no need to put anything under the carpet or hide away from anything. The best journey we can do is to actually acknowledge everything in order to feel wholesome and walk with wisdom. Harboring resentments helps no one, neither you. If you need to ask forgiveness of the person who's gone, ask them to forgive you. Ask them to let go of any pains you're holding or guilt you're holding in your heart. It's really important to do that so that you may continue your journey in a healthy manner. Please know that we're never given more than we can manage, and what doesn't break us only makes us stronger. And we go forward with wisdom, enlightenment, understanding. A lot of times we forget that life is not permanent. We forget that it's fragile, and we take things for granted. And then we awaken to regretting taking them for granted. But we will forget again. So even the journey going forward and acknowledging where you are today, there's a journey to be done of seeing what tomorrow looks like and learning from the mistakes we make when we lose someone in order to change our tomorrow to make it better, to make it healthier, and to ensure that we take responsibility for the fact that life is not permanent. Physical life is not permanent. And acknowledge the things that we don't wish to have for those we love who remain with us, to do the same thing to them. It's a big, 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 big point to make. Not to take anything for granted. If you love someone, tell them you love them. You care for someone, tell them you care. Share with them how you feel. Why don't we celebrate people when they're alive and only when they're gone? Why do we do that? When the most honoring time is when they're still with us and among us. Some people never know that they were loved, and they were deeply loved. What are you going to do differently? How are you going to acknowledge and respect the person you have lost? You know, sometimes we never find the answers of what we're looking for. There are questions that can haunt us with someone who's left us, physically left us. The key is to be kind to you. You are capable of framing every answer the way you want it to be. I'm not saying to stay in denial, and I'm not saying to not be truthful. If we've made mistakes, acknowledging them, accepting them, finding the wisdom in how we want to do things differently in the future, yet honoring the person who's left us. If you feel as though you handled the person who's gone badly, seek forgiveness, close your eyes, ask them for forgiveness. You will find your peace. Imagine sandpaper on your heart, and the sandpaper is taking all the pain away from your heart. It's a process. Do that every day. Close your eyes, imagine the sandpaper on your heart. Slowly, slowly, you see the dust particles moving away and being able to breathe again.